If we go to war with Russia, we could find that our youth may have to be conscripted. That's a bit alarming.
Yes, head of the British Army, one of the most cerebral thinkers that we've got, a strategist. We need to listen and listen carefully. We've been too complacent. I think I've said this many times with you. What's coming over the horizon should shock us. It should worry us, and we are not prepared. We've had a couple of decades, 3 decades or so since the Cold War. Life has gone well. It's now going to get more difficult as authoritarian states exploit our timidity, our perhaps reluctance to really put fires out. And the best example of that is a democracy on the corner of Eastern Europe that in its 3rd year is now in conflict, and we've not resolved that. So Patrick Saunders is saying, prepare for what's coming over the horizon. There is a 1939 feel to the world right now. These authoritarian states are rearming. There's a risk averseness about the West in wanting to deal with that. And institutions, global institutions such as the United Nations, aren't able to hold these errant nations to account. In fact, the UN, I'd go further, is reaching its League of Nations moment unless it's reformed.
Would you fight in a war with Russia? Brits could be conscripted to fight for king and country, according to the head of the army, who says our military is too small to handle a conflict with the Kremlin in the event that they attacked. It comes after a warning from the Defence Secretary that Britain has to be prepared for a conflict and that we are in a pre-war world. There's now just 75,000 full-time troops in the British Army, enough to fit into Old Trafford, while Russia is estimated to have 1.3 million. A war might be on the way.
If you don't know what conscription means, it basically means when a military needs people to fight in a war and there ain't enough volunteers, sometimes there'll be conscription, which is a law that says if you're able to fight, you have to fight. They do it in America, it's called the draft. And you can get penalties if you don't. Just a few things. Who the fuck is going to fight for this country? Here's an idea. Put MPs first on the front line. Empty all these prisons with all these gangsters and all these bad boys and stuff like that. Get them on the front line. All these people running around with blades and stuff like that. Get them on the front line. See how bad these people actually are. If you think you can just draft in people because you think that's what you can do, it's not going to fucking happen. We already listened to you with the fucking lockdown shit, and then it were all a load of nonsense. Something big's going on behind the scenes, and I don't think we quite know it yet, but yeah. It's scary, but conscription, yeah. We'll have to see that fucking happen. And just one last thing. What are we actually fighting for? It's fucking pointless. We see so many ex-soldiers saying war is pointless. It's not even for anything. World's fucking gone mad. Like, people are going to risk their lives to fight in some pointless war. Not going to happen.
I've just seen that the UK could be introducing compulsory army service. Are you taking the piss? I can't be called up to war. This would be my gay ass if I got called up to go to war. Oh, you want me to fight? Your hair doesn't match your fucking eyebrows. Oh, right, properly fight.
Will be called up to fight in an all-out war with Russia as military is too small, Army Chief warns. Rishi Sunak, let me chat to you right now. Let me give you a proposition idea. Send all the men that got bagged with knives, samurai swords, Rambos, send them to the wall first. Put them in the front line. Because the UK is doomed, I'm not going to lie. Half of us can't run 10 metres without a smart whip or a vape. We're fucked.
If you were asked to fight for UK and go to Ukraine, would you?
No.
Why not?
I'm not gonna, to be honest, kill myself for this country.
General Sir Patrick Sanders will call for ministers to mobilise the nation. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the head of the British Army is set to warn Brits that they could be called up to fight for king and country in the event of war with Russia. Not a fucking chance. Why would I or any other British person want to fight for a corrupt king and a corrupt parliament in a war against Russia that doesn't need to take place? So the general has warned that the military is too small to handle a conflict on its own with Russia. And he's sort of trying to equivalate it to World War II and 1937. Anyway, the general believes there should be a shift in the mindset of the public who should be willing to defend the UK. So the very people that would defend the UK are the ones that have been targeted and harassed for years by the corrupt state. Looks like I won't be coming back to the UK anytime soon. And if they are doing this, I'd encourage people, get the hell out of Dodge while you can.
My shoulder is dislocated, literally. It's hurting me very badly. I'm in pain all the time. See this arm, this is as far as I can reach it. Same with this side over here.
General Sir Patrick Saunders, head of the British Army, released a statement yesterday stating that young British men could possibly face being conscripted into the British military because numbers are so low at roughly 75,000 men. Now, this is because Russia's war with Ukraine is beginning to escalate, and Russia has roughly 1.3 million men in their army. Now, I am kind of scared by this for several different reasons. Number one, conscripts are not useful in modern day warfare. They are nowhere near as proficient nor as capable as actual soldiers. Number two, the men in this country are not made of the same metal as men conscripted back in World War I and World War II. And I am part of that. I know a lot about history, I know a lot about military history, and I will happily hold my hands up and say that I am not made of the same gravy as my great-grandparents' generation. These were different men, and it was also different times.
So one of the Tory stooges has been out and about doing the local press rounds saying about conscription, and that if we were to go to war with Russia or China, then the army, because it's depleted, would call upon the British, civilians to go and fight in these wars. Anybody between 18 and 41, if conscription should happen, would be obligated to go to war. I can guarantee you that less than 50% of people would agree to that. This country has done absolutely nothing for people aged 18 to 41 for years, especially in the last 14 years of Tory government, where young people have been continually fucked in every possible way, with its major recessions, its huge house price rises, rents rising, student loans going up, and the interest rates going up, the cost of living being a nightmare, energy costs. It is genuinely very difficult to be a young person right now. And the fact is that you've got people saying, you'd have to go to war. People did in World War I and World War II. This isn't the same thing. This isn't going to be a global massive war. And you can't force people in this day and age to go to war. So if the army's got a recruiting problem, and I'm pretty sure it does because numbers are dwindling, you've got to look at other means, because conscription is just not going to work. You can't force people to go to war.
No, not at all. Obviously, in the past, we have during World War I and World War II because of a major conflict, a world war. But even in World War I, around 20,000 people refused to join up, even though they were told they had to. And in World War II, around 60,000. Can you imagine now in the UK, where we're a really soft country now, men aren't the same as what they were back then, and they refuse. So imagine there'd be millions that would refuse now, so it just wouldn't work.
All these gimpy left-wing people calling me, hating on me, denying me jobs and stuff, because apparently I've got toxic masculinity. Then all of a sudden they're going to want that toxic masculinity to go and fight for them.
I just wanted to remind everybody that to serve a country, first you need a country worth saving. And also, real leaders, real kings used to march at the front. The only day that you'll see me with a gun in my hand trying to save this country is if Mr. Sunak is walking in front of me. I want to make sure that git gets shot well in advance of me. He's easily replaceable anyway. There's only one of me. There's a million Sunaks.
Guys, I saw Daily Mirror UK on TikTok posting about how Russia has 1.3 million troops and the UK only has 75,000 fucking troops. And how if the war, we're in a pre-war world, and that we're going to be when the war happens, we're going to be forced to go to war. Please DFKM. Let me just tell you that. Please don't fucking kill me right now. First of all, you're going to pull up to my house. Hello? I'm looking for Mr. Revenge, Mr. Remy's Revenge. I'm going to open the door, I'm going to go, hi guys, you alright? What's going on, What's Russia saying? What's the beef going on? And they're going to tell me, you got to pack your bags, we're going to the war. I'm going to just actually look him in the eye and go, no. Actually fucking no. Step away from me, guys. I don't know how in the 40s they convinced so many people to go fight in the war. I would just fucking lol in your face right now. Personally, I'm not at war. I don't know no one from Russia. I ain't got fucking beef with Russia. Me and Putin, we don't know each other from fucking nowhere. But now you want me to jump in one fucking passenger flight fucking Spitfire. Jump in one fucking Spitfire, say I know how to drive a fucking Spitfire, and trump my ass to fucking Russia. Me, a bad babe like me out there in fucking USSR, Czechoslovak, fighting Soviet, no. And my thing is, if I just say no, what are you gonna do? Is Rishi gonna come to my fucking house? Rishi, you can try to pick me up, I'm heavy, bitch. Pick me up. Pick me up, like, I just won't move. I'll act dead. Pick me up and throw me into Dunkirk and let's see what happens. I'll fucking lay out on the beach and drink one fucking mimosa and shake my batty in the sand. Talking about you have to fight for king and country. First of all, the country ain't done nothing but tax me, rude.
Apparently, you and me are going to get called up to fight if the UK goes to war. An army chief has warned that the military is too small, and if the UK gets into a conflict, they're going to rely on people like us. The British army chief does not support conscription, but they do believe there needs to be a shift in the mindset of regular Brits. We need to think more like troops in case all-out war with Russia does break out. These words are being said by someone pretty serious. It's this guy, Sir Patrick. He's in charge of a bunch of important stuff in the army. There is a lot of talk currently that we are getting this close to a massive war breaking out in the world. You may have seen the doomsday clock stays unchanged at 90 seconds to midnight because they're just about to break out into some big conflict. I can't say if there will or there won't be, but it does feel more and more like within the next 20 years there will be a massive global conflict of some kind. This mentality that we should be willing to just up and join the military seems kind of misplaced to me, because it will be young people they expect to sign up. And for the last few decades, the papers and the news and the governments have been spending all of their time talking smack about us. Whoopi Goldberg represents this perfectly, saying that our generation only wants to work 4 hours and expect to get a house. We are scientifically snowflakes. Gen Z and Millennial were apparently the worst generations that ever existed, but now it might be time to fight a war, and suddenly you need us. This country needs us. And I'm telling you, they're going to struggle to get Gen Zs and Millennials to voluntarily sign up for the army. Because the people in charge have spent decades talking smack about us, making it harder to live, making it so there's nothing worth fighting for in this country. And the fact that we have social media to talk about world news and things that are going on, we're all pretty clued up on the way the UK and the US behave. Good luck convincing us that we're going to be on the correct side of history in any of these wars. Because history would say, most of the time, we're not. I will say this though, if Gen Z do go on the front lines, the content would be incredible. Not me breaking the Geneva Convention. Get ready with me to invade this small village. Great stuff. The historians will love it.
There's a head general in the army, or whatever they're called, saying that the army is too small and there will be a call-up if we go to war. Like a conscription kind of thing like you've done in World War II. Who the fuck is going to fight for this country, you know? Like, I would fight to the death for my family. But why the fuck would I fight for this government, for the king, anybody? Why the fuck would I do that shit, man? Honestly, I love this country. I love Scotland. I love England. Like, but I would never fight to fucking defend anything. Because it's not what we believe in, you know? If we had been attacked and it was not our fault, you know, or whatever, then yeah, you can see it. But we're literally fucking going about picking on every kid. You know, we're like, us in America, like the bully at school, is going around beating people up. And then a couple of bullies are fucking, a couple of people, like little kids, have got fucking pissed off with it and stood up and formed a little gang and came and beat us up. That's what it's going to be fucking like. And we are complaining and say we're going to call up people to fucking do it. I would never fucking fight for this country. No chance. Like, put me in fucking jail or something, because there's no way I'd be doing it. And if it gets like for years and years ahead, I would never let my little boy do it either, you know, when he's old enough. No chance. I think it's an absolute fucking waste of time. I think it's stupid. And I don't fucking want the king. I don't want the fucking government. They want to go and fucking fight. They and their families can go and fucking do it. Go on. I don't give a toss. Like, I would never, ever, ever want to go to war and want to fight for anybody, because, say, literally, it's not our war. We are literally getting our fucking self involved in shit that's got nothing to do with us. We are a small island. We should be sitting on our own, peacefully,